Hello and welcome to another ROFFS update of ocean conditions using satellite sea surface temperature and ocean color chlorophyll imagery from the weekend of April 12th, 2025. Overall, we had a front push through over the weekend, so temperatures did go down a little bit, with the Gulf Stream at approximately 81 to 80, passing through the Florida Straits, and then cooling down into the upper 70s to mid 70s off of North Carolina. Starting to the south and working our way north, we did have a nice big blob of clouds here off at the Keys. I'll zoom in a little bit. But we can see what appears to be an eddy filament here, extending more or less through the entirety of the Keys. We'll take a look also at the associated chlorophyll imagery to see if we can get a little bit better look. And then in that chlorophyll imagery, we were also able to see a number of small eddies here, pushing up from South Florida, and then as well as an eddy here off of the Stewart area, an eddy here circulating some nice water inshore north of Canaveral, as well as an eddy here off of the Jacksonville area. Smaller eddy here off of the Charleston area, and then we have this Charleston gyre formation with a relatively large eddy here that is going to then expand and push up and be similar to this eddy here eventually, which is currently kind of dominating the area there from Cape Fear down to Georgetown. That's generally how these form. This eddy here will essentially expand into this size anywhere from 5 days to a week or so, and then those just kind of keep pushing through the area. And then looking north of Cape Fear, relatively stable conditions, and then a deflection here indicating another eddy in the area. And then finally there's an eddy up here north of Cape Hatteras in the Point area. Looking over at the Bahamas quickly, we can see kind of the normal counterclockwise rotation here through the Northwest Providence Channel. This favorable, warmer Bahamas blue water here that extends north from Cat Island along Eleuthera. Some of it's pushing in off of Eleuthera, creating some favorable conditions, and then we got a big counterclockwise or clockwise rotating eddy here off of southern Abaco, with a portion of that water then also extending south off of central to southern Abaco. And then here we have this warm Gulf Stream associated water with a large counterclockwise rotating eddy here, as well as clockwise rotating eddy pushing the eastern side of the Gulf Stream relatively far east. And then some of this water also then continues to the east off of northern Abaco. Looking over at the associated chlorophyll data, we'll zoom in a little bit so we can see these eddy filaments a little bit better. Again, some clouds, but here's this pocket of blended blue water indicating the eddy core. So a nice green to blue edge here off the Keys. That's where you're going to find your tuna, dolphin, wahoo, billfish, right? And then we'll zoom in a little bit more. We can see all of these different edges in here for these little eddies. These pockets of green offshore are the eddy cores. So here we have what is essentially a green water eddy, right? The filament, which is right here, is predominantly green. So generally not particularly favorable because one, the Gulf Stream kind of deflects offshore, and then what you would think would be a nice favorable filament is actually green water. Up here we can see the normal good, an eddy that we would like, with some blended water circulating inshore for you, indicating your tuna, your dolphin, and your wahoo inside along 20 to 30 fathoms off of Jacksonville here. Pushing north, we can see a couple of small eddies here off of the St. Helena, Charleston, Georgetown area. Again, this nice big, what they call Charleston gyre, this big formation that normally happens with the Charleston bump area. And then we get some clouds up north here, but there's also these two eddies we looked at in the sea surface temperature imagery. Go back down to the south here real quick. Looking at the Bahamas, again we can see this nice big pocket of the eddy core essentially in the northwest Providence Channel. That'll indicate some favorable conditions, as well as this nice pocket of this Bahamas blue water. And then a couple of eddies here off of the Abacos that will push favorable water inshore, indicating greater areas to catch fish. And then conversely, the associated offshore flow of green water, of course, is going to be the less favorable place to fish. But conditions change every day. So for the most recent analysis of your area, you can give us a call at 321-723-5759. You can order online at ROFFS.com, or you can reach us via email at fishing@roffs.com. Thank you very much. Tight lines.